It's J. Marie. J. Marie. J. Marie. It's J. Marie. Relational rants. J. Marie. Relational rants. J. Marie. Relational rants. J. Marie. It's J. Marie. Relational rants. J. Marie. Relational. J. Marie. Relational. J. Marie. It's J. Marie. Relational rants.
Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey y'all. See, I switched it up. It's all that right. My agenda's falling down off to the side. I gotta get this set up better. We're gonna work on it. Anyway, I am J. Marie Unmuted. This is Relational Rants and Real Talk. Actually, I am about to start a little bit of a rebranding of the brand that I haven't really fully established yet, but making changes, right? As I go, updating and stuff like that. And I think it's just a representation too of how sometimes we let perfectionism stop us. If we don't have everything lined up, everything figured out, we won't take action. And I've definitely been there. I definitely been there, whether it's in this type of space or in another type of, space in their career or whatever they were doing. I remember just sometimes feeling a particular way. I have something to say too, or even sometimes feeling like having more knowledge on the topic or just desiring to do something, but you don't know where your lane is at. You don't really know how to bring it into fruition. So I tried to move. I try not to move like that with this podcast. I've been trying to lean into the imperfections, and it's actually been helpful because I haven't restricted myself. I haven't beat myself up if I'm not hitting the targets the way that maybe I would like to, or to gain more traction, because that's not necessary. I mean, of course, I want to gain traction, but it's not necessarily what I'm in it for. And I was thinking recently this week just around the identity, well, these last 2 weeks, so around the identity of my podcast and just refining that and fine tuning it as I go. And there is a particular aim that I'm shooting for or a particular niche. And so just getting kind of clear with myself in terms of my podcast. I wanted to make sure that I'm clarifying and I am very clear about what it is that I'm hoping to achieve with it. It's been interesting to develop identity of the podcast in itself. Then I started thinking this week too, but just about identity in general. And I had a client, and I think there was something in my 2025 unmuted reflection episode. Y'all should check it out because I posted it late because that's me. I recorded it before the end of the year, but it didn't get posted till almost a month after. And hey, that's on brand for me. But y'all should check it out. But in that episode, I was just talking about keeping myself steady in life, like with just not necessarily around goals, but just how I feel. Just making sure I feel my best. I feel regulated. And I had a client this week, and we were basically talking about them feeling, it was a couple actually, them feeling overwhelmed and all the things that they had on their plates currently. You guys have to like reverse engineer. You got to kind of start things from your own regulation, your own emotional regulation as much as possible, right? We can't control everything, but as much as possible, you want to be in a regulated space. So I had suggested working out is obviously really important to you. It's something that keeps you regulated. It's something that helps you feel your best, perform your best. So that's a priority for you. What do you think about waking up early and working out? And the guy was just like, no. But he didn't say no like that. But he was just like, I'm not a morning person. His wife was, he is not a morning person. Yeah, but maybe you want to try. Because what comes easy or what's comfortable isn't always what actually keeps us steady. It isn't what always keeps us being able to perform in the ways that we want to. And it made me start thinking about just identity. It made me start thinking about how much are we actually missing out on life because we're so stuck in a particular identity. We can cling to it, and we will reject anything that bumps up against the identity we have established for ourselves. And it's not that you can't have preferences, but again, what's a preference and what's actually just masquerading as fear? Fear of the unknown, or just fear of feeling a little, again, dysregulated. Because, when you're making changes and you're growing, it's uncomfortable. It doesn't always feel the greatest. It feels hard. It feels frustrating. Sometimes we can have a lot of negative emotions with it, but how much is holding us back because we're clinging to a particular identity? I seen this week the clip of Cam Newton, and Cam Newton he's such a controversial person. I'll be honest, like I don't really watch his podcast. I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes of it. I see the clips here and there. I might check in, but I don't really consume it like that. And I'm not a huge Cam Newton fan per se. Like he's just not somebody I really ever followed. He's so clickbaity. He got all the clickbaits. It's like he does that very, very well. This week he was talking about how he doesn't have platonic relationships with the opposite sex. He called it Playtonic, which is interesting because he has his own vocabulary as well. He was just basically saying, nah, like I'm not doing platonic relationships with women. I know myself enough to know that I'm gonna find something to be attracted to this woman. Basically, I guess he would just have sex with her. He was like, so yeah, I don't do that. I don't have platonic relationships. Like I saw this guy do this commentary on the clip, and he was basically talking about Cam Newton being manipulative, that he was virtue signaling, and he wanted to look like he was disciplined. Now, I don't think he was being manipulative. Now, at least not intentionally. I think he was being performative. I think Cam Newton performs quite a bit. I think they were saying too on the episode or on a clip that I saw that they were talking about him not having any self-control. And there was people in the comments that were saying, well, if he knows himself, at least he's taking steps to resist temptation. And how much temptation is he really resisting, though? I mean, he said he don't do platonic Because does that mean you just try to screw up all the women that come around? Anyway, I started just thinking about that. Like, is, self control, sure. Well, this is to me more of like, not just ego, not just misogyny, but you really need to uphold your identity. He really needs to uphold his identity. Ugh. He commits to that, to the performance. Okay, so why wouldn't he have, right, platonic relationships with the opposite sex? It's not just about sex. It is, but it's not. Because I was like, oh, if a woman isn't sexually attracted to him or not willing to eventually give it up or something like that wouldn't confirm his identity. His identity is very much built on external factors to me. Now, I'm assuming things again because I don't personally know Cam Newton. I only know what I see, what he decides to show us. But he's accustomed to being a highly desirable man. That's his identity. Yeah, it's not just misogyny. He's been conditioned for years as a pro athlete, and I'm sure prior to that, well sought out person who plays sports. He's been desired. And he's been desired for his performance on the field mostly. He's desired as well by a lot of women. I don't particularly find him attractive, but a lot of women do find him attractive, and he's desirable to a lot of women. And I thought it was interesting that he's no longer playing football. And where else are you going to supplement the need for your external validation to have someone reassure that you are actually desirable? So I said, damn, that's just my thoughts, okay? Well, maybe about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I fell down the rabbit hole of archetypes. I started studying Carl Jung, who was a psychologist back in the Freudian days. He was actually one of Freud's good partners, and they were homies. He ended up breaking off and kind of creating his own theory and approach to therapeutic work. He's the one that discussed like your shadow and these different concepts. And one of the concepts he has is archetypes. And archetypes are just kind of generalizations of different roles. It's a little complex, but it's so interesting when you dive deep into it and you start to like explore your own shadow. It's kind of neat. And shadow is not even just about the your dark traits or your negative traits or your evil traits. It's not just about stuff like that. It's actually about like could be good things about you, talents that you have and interests that you just don't allow yourself to explore. You kind of bury it. And so it becomes shadow. And one of the archetypes is it's a Latin name for it, but I'm about to play myself because yeah, we're gonna just call him Peter Pan. Because that's the same thing. It's the same character. It's just a Latin name for it. Peter Pan is an archetype. He has different archetypes depending on whoever is conceptualizing it. But it's basically who Peter Pan was. Peter Pan was a little boy who didn't want to grow up. He lived in Never Never Land because he never wanted to grow up. He never wanted to mature. One of the things that Carl Jung talks about in archetypes is what they call like the collective consciousness, and how that you can see these different archetypes in the greater society. it's so it's so cool. It's actually pretty dope. I look at Cam Newton all the time and I'll be like, he looked like Peter Pan. Like he literally dresses like Peter Pan to me. Like you think of how his little outfits he be wearing. They give you Peter Pan vibes, right? The way he styled his hair, his little hats, the way his hair hangs out, and his little hat. I'm like, you definitely got that Peter Pan vibe. And Peter Pan didn't want to grow up. And it's crazy because when I started thinking about that, I've been made that connection. Because I just think Cam Newton is juvenile. I think he's very juvenile and whatever. When I started making that connection, I was like, let me look up the story real quick about Peter Pan. I know Peter Pan story, but do I? I'll do a quick little Google search and read up on Peter Pan. Peter Pan, again, didn't want to grow up. But he had these women in his life. He had Tinkerbell, who was his little fairy, and I guess Tinkerbell kind of, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what Tinkerbell role, but I feel like she gave him a lot of guidance and maybe was a little bit of his conscience. And he had Wendy. You maybe think of Wendy as his love interest, but Wendy really wasn't his love interest because he wanted Wendy. He took Wendy as a mother. I forgot what happened to his parents. I don't recall. But anyway, he took Wendy as a mother. He brought her to Neverland so she could be nurturing to him. And I was just like, that's crazy. At some point, she she grew feelings for him and he shut that down. I'm not interested, basically. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a man. I just want you to take care of me. But I don't like you like that. Interesting. And it sounds like who else? Cam Newton. Oh my God. That's crazy. Peter Pan had this crew called the Lost Boys. He was his homies. I guess they were all like kind of orphans. Like they were like parentless. And he had beef with Captain Hook and all this crazy stuff. Anyway, eventually towards the end of the story, Wendy ended up going back home. Now, Peter Pan didn't want her to go though. He was trying to tell her like, yo, your parents don't even care about you no more. That's some shit. But that's some control. That's some isolate you from your friends and family. I was like, damn, Peter Pan, you was wild. Okay. But I guess he had a heart somewhere. And anyway, she went back home. And then the Lost Boys, his little crew. Wendy mama adopted all of them. She wanted to adopt Peter Pan too, and Peter Pan told her ass nah. He was like, nah, I don't want to do that because you gonna make me a man. I was like, oh. Now we really getting into it. He said, no, I don't want to be a man. Okay. And then he said, Wendy, you can come back once a year or something. Some crazy shit. You can come back once a year and be the mama. I forgot. Tinkerbell died. I forgot what happened. Anyway, I ain't read the whole story. It was Cliff Notes. But I was just like, damn, that's crazy. Like, it's giving me Cam Newton vibes. And I find it like intriguing that he poses and performs as this intellect. And even in his dress, it's very Peter Pan. It's very Sherlock Holmes. It's very performative. I mean, it's your style, whatever. Nobody's hating. Multiple things can be true at one time. It's so odd that you don't ever update anything. You bring these people on, you ask thought provoking questions, not really, but whatever. And all that. And again, I don't follow the show, so I can't actually really 100% say this. But it just feels he never updates. It's okay, you get the new, you know how your phone be like, new software. It's a new software update, and he just keeps dismissing it. He's remind me later. Remind me later. Remind me later. And later never really comes for him. I just thought that was interesting in terms of identity. Because I'm like, man, he's really clinging to me, to the identity that he's created for himself. It seems like it would be helpful for him maybe to integrate some of the knowledge that people are sharing with him on his platform, and it just doesn't seem to ever connect. I know that sometimes we feel like people who are very steadfast in who they are, we have a level of admiration for people like that and respect for people like that. I think that there's a level of us that we can stay true to, but there needs to be some updating to happen, and it just seems like Cam Newton's just not interested in updating his software. I thought about how we admire people who stay really steadfast in their identity, and we also admire people who also switch it up. We enjoy that too. We enjoy people who change, because we know change is hard. So we respect that. I seen something today actually about Northwest. Northwest dropped a song. It was, I forgot, something about piercings. I forgot. Y'all see, I pull things from the stuff I see, and I'll be like half in it. Oh yeah, I kind of have the synopsis of what's happening, but I should play with my hair. I'm gonna fix my thing, but I don't know the ins and outs because I just need an overview. Okay, she drops this song, something about piercings. So many piercings. I want more piercings. I don't know, but she got the cover art is her hand in multiple piercings. I listened to the little snippet of the track. It's a little bop. I think it's a little bop. I mean, it fits for the era right now, right? I'm gonna just say this real quick. I'm a person that really enjoys ratchet music. I probably be listening to things I shouldn't be listening to, or people think I shouldn't be listening to, and I really don't care. Everything doesn't have to be thought provoking and the hardest lyrics you ever heard in life. Sometimes I just like to hear some ratchet ass shit, and if the beat is good, I'm with it. Sue me. I don't really care. I would probably, I mean, you know what I'm saying? If I or it come up on my playlist or something like that, I'll probably listen to it because it was a little pop. For her, she 12. She also has the blue hair. She's doing the fake tattoos on her face. I'll go to the comments because I know y'all talking shit about her. And of course they were talking shit. Oh my God, you shouldn't be promoting this, and she's 12, and this is inappropriate, and this is that, and that. Just nothing but criticism. Nothing but criticism. Y'all need to get a life. Some people just really be just haters. And when I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, who the hell did y'all think Northwest? I mean, not who y'all thought she was gonna be, because we didn't know that. But are y'all surprised about who she is? Her father's Kanye West. Her mom is literally Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian has to be one of the first influencers really ever, that before influencers were a thing. What else does she do in life? She make money, but I'm saying she has influence. Damn, y'all really hating on Northwest. Like, people always say she need to act her age. She acting too grown. We have to remember that Northwest is also a young black girl, actually. And this is the same stereotypical shit that's always put on young black girls often. Where we do this contradictory thing where we want them to be mature and older and criticize them for being mature and older. Doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. She is a kid. She's 12. All she's doing is expressing herself. It made me think about, why do people have such a hard time with other people and how they decide to express themselves? Why do we have such a hard time with particularly children expressing themselves? Why do we feel like children shouldn't have the opportunity to fully express themselves? Because to me, I mean, you can say what you want about Kim Kardashian. I'm not necessarily a fan per se, but she's pretty involved with her kids. There's some level of structure going on, that she's tuned in to these things and allows Northwest to explore in the confines of whatever the structure that Kim Kardashian has set up, or Kanye too has set up for North. What she's doing shouldn't be that weird. Okay. And what's really appropriate? People just be fucking hating all the time. People just hate you for sometimes the strangest things. It's not even always about how much money you got, what kind of material goods you have, or what type of job you got. If you're successful, people hate you for all types of shit. People just hate you because you have the audacity. And it made me think about some like envy, jealousy experiences I've had that I've encountered. Sometimes people can be very envious of, I've came into contact with people who have what I would say is envy around my resiliency. Where people, I'm not saying that they wanted the worst for me, but I think there's particular people, it's not everybody, it's a handful though, that I feel, and I could be wrong, it's just my opinion, that was upset that I wasn't a product of my circumstances. That for some reason, I don't even want to say beat the odds, but that I just didn't fall victim to the things, or I was able to overcome the things that I experienced in my childhood, because I've had some level of success. And this is not gloating, and it's not even success on, this is just normal people success, regular shit. I'm able to do regular things. It's like super really super basic, but because of that, because the odds were stacked against me, or should have been, people kind of hate about that. It's weird, like, because I had the audacity not to succumb to my predicament as a child, or the things I was exposed to as a child. I feel some of that is happening with Northwest, because people are just mad because she's free to express herself, and so many people don't. So many people live their lives based off what other people want from them, or based off expectations, or pleasing people. And so many people raise people, when we have resentment for that, then we want to get it back, like get back at it in a way. We want to, what's the word? Not revenge or be vindictive. I don't think it's a conscious thing, but it's just that thing, right? This is how I was raised, so I'm going to raise you like that. I couldn't express myself, so why you get to express yourself? All she's doing is like learning about who she is. But I think people be mad about it because she obviously don't give no fuck. She don't care. It's crazy too, because the whole time you guys are talking about she's a child and she's doing all of this other stuff, she's getting exposed to your critiques and criticism and judgments of her, which y'all don't give a fuck about her safety then, but y'all care over here. Okay, cool. Anyway, she just is learning how to show up and still be visible and do what she wants to do while facing scrutiny. And it's just a skill that a lot of people don't have, and people be hating. They'll just be hating. Northwest is exceptional. She's the exception. When I say that, I'm saying mom's Kim Kardashian, dad is Kanye West. They're both exceptional. However, you don't have to like them. I don't like Cam Newton that much, I guess. He's still exceptional. Right? I look at both of them as Playtonic. They're Playtonic, you know what I mean? They're both playing around with their own expression. It's just that I think when we look at Northwest and we look at someone like Cam Newton, it gives that stereotypical phrase that we hear in the Black community where we love our sons and raise our daughters. We're mad at Northwest for actually being strong and convicted in who she is, at least in this moment in time. And we're upset about that. Even though she has to be strong, she has to grow up to kind of deal with the judgments and the criticisms. But what's most important to her is like, I'm not about to lose sight of my relationship with myself based off what you guys got to say. Now, we love our sons. And maybe one day I'll get into another episode about Cam Newton because he's a special kind of fella. I do find it interesting that he has like so much reverence and love for his mother, and the way he treats women don't quite connect. That's why I think it's more around the desirability of being like a pro athlete, being really exceptional at what he did, his prior career. Where does that go when you're retired? How do you get that fulfillment? And I'm not talking about, because the podcast is giving him visibility, but not necessarily desirability. He has to seek that out. I was thinking about all those things. And of course, I was thinking about myself and my own kind of identity journey that I've been on for a little while, like switching things up. Like, man, we could all probably use some playing around with just different concepts, like tapping into different parts of our identity. Because we're not just one thing. And it seems like people do that. It's like we get stuck on this one thing that we have to be, and we just gonna ride it till the fucking wheels fall off. And shit sometimes is annoying. I remember I took this creative writing class. Well, it was a short story class. It was storytelling, excuse me. It was storytelling. I stumbled upon it on some random ass shit. I remember when I started the class, the lady referred to me as a creative shit. And I don't really identify, because I didn't. I don't really identify with it now. Even though I'm doing a podcast, I'm doing content. I'm a content creator, but that title doesn't necessarily resonate with me. This morning I was like, you it's not that I'm not a creative, but I'm expressive. And that's just what I like to do. I like to express myself, and I will do that in different modalities, in different ways. That's what this is. I'm playing around with stuff. I was telling a friend the other day, like, I'm shocked that I'm doing some of the things with the podcast and talking about certain things, and you got to come up with ideas and where you want this to go, and trying to create a brand for yourself. And I'm recording an intro again, and I'm just like, girl, you is not a rapper. You're not you don't know how to sing. You're a writer, but you couldn't write a book probably to save your fucking life. So I got all these little micro talents, and I'm like, this is perfect. This is perfect outlet for all my little micro talents. It's fun though. And that's like the one thing that actually been keeping me on track to some extent with the podcast, is because it's so much fun. I get to play. And I love it. I love that. And we tend to shut down our expressiveness as we grow older. And it's like, we do a really disservice to ourselves. One thing is that we're always tied to the outcome of something. Like, we always feel everything has to be so serious. Like, we used to make fun of those rappers, them 40-year-old rappers. Why are you still rapping? You're not gonna make it big. Now, in this day and age, that may not necessarily be true because of the way that we have so much access to content. But it's not always about them wanting to make it big. It's a form of expression. It's a form of creativity. Those things, expressiveness, creativity, play, curiosity, is all the factors of a healthy fucking life. If you find interest in something, if you have a passion for something, you do not, I know this is not popular belief, okay, against popular belief, you do not have to make it a career. You do not have to do it to make money. You don't have to do it. If you like to draw graffiti, names, or whatever, you don't have to make that a career. You can just do it. And you know what else you can do? You can take classes, you can get skilled at it, and you can just do it because you want to. You know what else you can do if you're not a morning person? You can still get your ass up and go work out in the morning. And guess what? You can still not be a morning person. Actually, duh. Do what you want to do. But so many of us don't want to do those things because what we don't want to do is respond appropriately, right? Responsibility. Remember, I said it's going to be a theme here. The ability to respond, right? To take ownership, to have agency in our own lives. We rather stay in the confines of who we think we are, who we're told, because often it's who we're told that we are. And we rather just do that and stay stuck and miserable. I know this is random, but you didn't think Cam Newton and Northwest was going to have some type of similarity. I don't really like Cam Newton again, but I mean, I can respect that he's a person that he puts himself out there. He's obviously rebranding because he doesn't even do like a sports podcast. He just does, I mean, whatever the hell. I don't know what the theme is, but he interviews people that he finds interesting. I think people have been cracking on his sense of style for a long time, and he don't care. Peter Pan, he don't care. Same thing about Northwest. Let's make sure that we're arrested development, which I think Cam Newton got some arrested development going on. And actually, I don't think Northwest is going to have any arrested development. We'll see, though. We'll see. Anyway, I want y'all to think about some stuff that maybe y'all want to do. Where can you have more play in your life? Where can you be more expressive in your life? What are some things that you used to do, you used to love, you used to have a passion for that you stopped doing because life got real, life got serious? You might want to try going back there. All right, you may want to go and reconnect to that part of yourself. That's what I'm doing, and I'm muted. I've always been very direct in what I say. I've always been a little mouthy. I always used to get in trouble at school for talking too much. My dad always used to tell me I talk too much too, and I'm sure there's other people in my life that felt that way as well. And at some point, I just started being quiet because I felt like people couldn't take what I had to say. And now I went back and to go reclaim that part of myself. I'm bringing her into the fold of this, my current iteration of myself. This is just my current iteration. In the next few years, it's going to probably be something else. We got one life to live, guys. I'm not here to be like, oh, you should maximize it, because I think that's another thing. We love to maximize everything. We don't have to do that, but we can chill the fuck out and stop hating on people. And I ain't even hating on Cam Newton. I'm just calling it how I see it. This is just how I see things, and I'm talking about it, and that was it. Okay, Peter Pan though. Read the story. You will see it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And maybe one day I'll get into the real crazy about the archetypes, because it get real. But anyway, I'm wrapping up. I am so happy that you've been here with me. I got some things on the works, switching up some things. I'm excited per usual. And what else? I don't know. Follow me. Subscribe. I'm on Instagram at J Marie Unmuted. I am on TikTok, which I'm probably about to get off of. I never trust TikTok. I was always suspicious of TikTok. And then boom, once I get on there, 3 days later, suspect. So we'll see if I stick around there. But I'm on TikTok at Relational Rants. Yes, yes. And this was a rant, kind of ish, about your relationship with your identity, your relationship with play, your relationship with creativity, your relationship with why y'all sometimes haters, often, why y'all sometimes contradict yourselves, often. Y'all love a contradictory statement, but hate nuance. It's crazy. It's all the same shit, except one is you're aware of one, and sometimes contradictions we're not always aware of. So anyway, this is J Marie Unmuted, Relational Rants, Real Talk. Thank you again for being here with me. I see you, I hear you. Thank you for being here with me, and until next time, I'm out.
It's J Marie, Relational Rants.